Hello everybody and welcome to the latest edition of LM's Weekly Wrap, our weekly event to cover all the developments that have taken place in the markets, in the international markets, in the domestic markets. What are the implications of the international developments on the domestic markets and their implications on the respective sectors and the stocks. With me is Mr. Jash, who is a senior equity research analyst at LM Securities. He will be giving us an overview of the international markets as well as the domestic markets, which will be followed by my comments on the individual sectors and the stocks. So, Jash, can we start?
Thank you so much, Nirav sir. As usual, I'm going to start with giving my comments on how the markets moved. To start with, Monday and Tuesday was a very strong start to the week. And I think it was because there were no major global events happening, and Tuesday the global markets were shut. Coming to Wednesday, we saw a slight dip in the market, and it was resistant to go up. But that was due to majorly two factors that I would say is that the dollar index has moved above 110, and the 10-year benchmark bond yield is at 3.5%, which is very high, and it's a cause of concern. Also, another point from the Europe side is that Russia is not going to release gas to Europe. So that led to the soaring of gas prices. But in contradiction to that, the crude oil prices has been going down. So that is what is helping the domestic market, our markets, to be resilient and move up. So if you see yesterday, Thursday and Friday today, the markets have been showing strength, though it gave up the gains that it had in the morning. But I still feel the markets are very resilient. That's it about the global markets. And with the domestic markets, I would say that our festive consumption story still remains very strong, and we just completed the first set of festivities, the 10-day Ganesh festival, and because it was after 2 years, there were record number of devotees for darshan, and also the consumption, the festive led consumption is very high. So I feel it's going to be a very promising year for festives, and more light will be thrown upon by Nirav sir. I'll hand it over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jash. As rightly pointed out by Jash, there were certain developments in the international markets which impacted the markets initially, but I think from an emerging market perspective, and more so from an Indian market perspective, the biggest plus was the fact that the crude oil prices went below $90 a barrel. It's important to note that the crude oil prices were hovering between $94 and $110, and now with
for a very long time,
for quite a long time, and now with the crude oil prices having gone below $90, there is a ray of hope that they may inch down further. Which eventually benefits the Indian economy.
Yes, so that will lead to reduce the inflation, which the government is trying to.
Yes, exactly. And another important factor what we have seen in the markets is that we've seen very good inflows in the domestic markets in August. So in the month of August, FPIs have kind of changed their stance with respect to the Indian markets, and there's been some very good buying by them, and they are focusing more on the domestic sectors. I think the financial sector as well as the FMCG sector, it has bagged a lion's share of the FPI flows in the month of August. So this is something which we need to take into account when we take a sector specific view of the markets. Coming to this week, I think this week started off with the metal sector making a strong comeback. On Monday, we had the Nifty Metal Index, which was up about 1.6%, and on Tuesday, the Nifty Metal Index gave a good follow-up buying with a rise of 1.3%. So I think metal sector really shone well, it performed well during this week. There is some expectation in the market that the export levies on steel are likely to be reviewed by the government very soon, which can provide a boost to the export demand. So I think stocks led by JSW Steel, Jindal Steel, Tata Steel, to a certain extent, even aluminium stocks like Hindalco, Nalco, etc., have been in good health during the week. After that, from Wednesday, we started seeing some good traction in cement stocks. Remember, cement stocks have been beaten up very, very badly, and some of the mid-cap cement stocks were down to the extent of 30% or 40% from the 52-week highs. Now there is some expectation that with the acquisition of ACC and Ambuja by the Adanis, the fortunes of the sector might change. There might be some change in the dynamics of the sector. So we saw first in the first batch ACC, Ambuja and India Cement, which performed exceptionally well. This was followed by a dramatic turnaround which we saw in the likes of Shree Cement, JK Lakshmi Cement, JK Cement, Ramco Cement and Birla Corp. These stocks have been seeing very good buying during the last 3 days of the market session. So
I think we believe the sector is going to be re-rated, and it's under re-rating right now.
Every time it gives us a kind of hope that the price increases, but then what happens is that the price increase in some cases tends to be rolled back because the demand still tends to be muted. So it's still a wait and watch situation as far as the cement sector is concerned, but we've seen some good traction in metal and cement taken together. And the third sector which comes to my mind is the banking space. The banking is also sector is trying to make a comeback because the credit demand in the economy continues to be very strong. There's good demand from the corporate sector, SMEs and retail demand is also trying to make a comeback. So we are seeing some good traction in banks also. So watch out for SBI and ICICI Bank. This is being also followed up by Axis Bank. So these are some of the stocks which are showing very good traction, particularly so State Bank of India at 555 looks very good for a rise from the current levels, as well as ICICI Bank. Now these three sectors are the main sectors which have performed well, and I think some sectors which are trying to make a comeback. One is the IT sector. This is it tries to derive its strength from what is happening on the Nasdaq. The IT sector is making an attempt to it's making a feeble attempt to make a comeback. At the same time, the pharma sector is also trying to make a comeback, but still very early days to discuss all that. And I think these sectors which are looking forward to the festival season, of course, first is the FMCG space. They are looking for very good online sales. They're expecting very good online sales. They're expecting record sales. They've geared up their marketing campaigns. They've geared up the supply chains to meet the demand during the festival season, which is expected to be quite robust. So watch out for that space. And finally, our themes which we generally tend to discuss, the hotel stocks. Hotel stocks continue to be phenomenal, performing quite well. Inbound travel is likely to pick up in a very big way during the next 3 months. Outbound travel is also expected to pick up, but I think inbound travel definitely benefits the hotel sector, the aviation sector in general. And I think with pickup in the festival demand, corporate seminars, staycations or site-offs, corporate events, etc., I think the road ahead for the hotel sector seems to be quite strong. As far as our weekender stocks are concerned, our weekender stocks also continue to perform very well. Yesterday we had seen a very strong move in Schneider Electric, RK Forge. We have some very important events lined up next week. We have the board meetings of RK Forge. We have the board meetings of Schneider Electric. Titagar Wagon continues to perform very well. Bharat Electronics continues to perform well. Acrisil continues to do very well. So a lot many ideas to discuss, but time paucity is definitely there. So I think you can give us your feedback and we will respond to you by through our YouTube section, and kindly revert back to us with your comments and observations, and we look forward to meeting you in the next edition of Weekly Wrap. Thank you everybody for the patient hearing.